that it was possibly our most successful video in terms of view count so far. I'm back at Tony's Camo and Airgun Centre to drag some more really useful information out of Tony. We've had a lot of feedback saying that the two videos we produced last time were fantastic, really useful. So yeah, I wanted to come back here and try and break into your brain a bit more and get some more knowledge out of it.
Be careful, there's not a great deal there.
So one of the things we were, in the comments below the video, we were being asked about was airgun calibers.
Yes.
And which is the best caliber, what should people be looking for? So
yeah, for sure. I mean, airgun calibers, in the UK, realistically there are four main calibers, in order: 2.5, 2.2, 2.0 and 1.77. They've all got pretty much their own jobs to do. So 2.5 is predominantly a hunting caliber, close quarters at sub 12 foot-pound, so non-FAC. It is predominantly an FAC rated caliber, although you can get air rifles producing below 12 foot-pound of energy that fire a 2.5 pellet. That sort of thing would be used for small vermin at close ranges, and by close ranges I mean 25 yards and less. Okay. 2.2, it's a bit of an all-rounder, can happily be used for targets, for plinking in your back garden, that sort of idea, but again it is predominantly a hunting caliber. Huge array of pellets available in 2.2 in every possible profile you could imagine. It's definitely, if you've got a squirrel or a rat problem in your back garden, it's definitely the caliber to go to. 2.0, again, it's another fairly specialist caliber. There aren't that many rifle manufacturers that support it. Again, it's considered a hunting caliber. It has the advantage of being a high velocity round because it's reasonably light, but still carries a good quantity of lead to give a good thump at the area of impact. 1.77 is again another all-rounder. It's a very, very common round, sort of thing that you'll see on air pistols up to competition grade air rifles. It is used an awful lot for both hunting and target work, but if you're doing any sort of serious target work, it is the caliber to go for.
Okay. So there's a few things probably to unpack there. If I was a customer coming to you saying, this is my first air rifle, I've got a bit of a rabbit problem in the field behind the house, I just want to be able to sit in the back window and knock rabbits over under the general license. You can do it safely, legally, but they just want to make sure they make the right choice. Yeah, sure. So what would you recommend for that?
It's going to come down to, I would ask what approximate range they'd be shooting at the rabbits. If it was 25 yards or less, I would recommend going for a 2.2. If it was 25 yards or more, I'd recommend going for a 1.77. Okay. The customer would direct me there as to which would be the best caliber for their specific needs.
So that's kind of, in that situation, that'll be the first question you'll ask, and that's where the 100%, sort of 25 yard.
That's sort of your cut-off point for I mean, a 2.2 will still be effective beyond that point, but in all fairness, for a beginner, it isn't as easy. Okay. 1.77 can be much more forgiving. It's a much flatter trajectory, so it will hit the target in the correct spot for a clean kill more often.
And the other, so another customer profile then, I suppose, somebody who wants to come, they want to get find an activity with their children. They've got a long garden and they just want to be able to plink some targets. You know, maybe buy one of the sort of pop-up target things from here. And they've got a fairly long garden. They want to do it with the kids safely. What would you recommend for that?
Best thing for that, I would probably recommend going for a 1.77 rifle. Certainly the junior rifles all tend to be 1.77. It allows you to drop the foot poundage but still keep the velocity there to make the rifle nice and accurate. So a 1.77 junior rifle would be the way to go in that situation. Okay, and I suppose I can almost see them in my mind's eye now, the comments forming below this video about 1.77 versus 2.2 and energy transfer, and it's an age-old argument. It really is. It's in all fairness, both parties are right. 1.77 and 2.2 being the most popular calibers in the UK are both perfectly suitable for hunting and target work. They're as accurate as each other, as long as you realise that a 2.2 pellet has a much loopier trajectory. Okay, so yes, both calibers are good. I can potentially talk a 2.2 shooter into shooting a 1.77. I can't do that the other way around, simply because 1.77 does have the benefits of being a much faster projectile spends less time in the air, and it travels a lot flatter. That said, there isn't the energy transfer when it hits the target, so you're always going to have that 50-50 at the end.
Well, I had heard that people do like to argue about things on the internet.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So it's one of those things that it could just keep going back and forth.
It could keep going back and forth, and it can keep going back and forth because, as I said, both parties, in that age-old argument of which is the best, both parties are correct because both have their good points and both have their bad points.
Okay. So these videos are mainly aimed at the UK market, where without a firearms certificate you can only get a sub 12 foot-pound air rifle over the counter, assuming you're over 18 and
Correct.
a few other things.
So all the other legal requirements are met.
Yeah. So within that scenario, then I suppose if you're going for hunting / pest control, it comes down to the range.
Correct.
And if you're looking at something for targets and having a bit of legal and safe fun, then looking at maybe a 177 for that flatter trajectory.
Correct. Yeah, making the act of, certainly for a junior, making the act of going target shooting a lot easier because they are at pretty much a good variety of ranges. They are point and press.
Okay.
They're not thinking about having to drop a pellet into the target as you would with a 2-2.
No curvature of the earth or anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
No,
So,
we're not firing 2 miles.
So, it sounds quite simple then.
In theory, yes. Yeah. In practice, not quite so, but in theory it is basically very, very simple.
So, you may have different opinions. If you want to put something in the comments below, you're more than welcome to, and no doubt there'll be a few arguments in there. So, Tony, once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll see you again in the next video.